Grab a couple of wooden furniture legs from the Home Depot. Use a dollar store wooden craft plaque as a base and adhere one of the wooden legs on top. Paint the entire piece using black paint. Reach for one of the hanging wire planters and remove the connected chain. Place the wire planter on top of the furniture leg. Glue a piece of cut styrofoam on top to secure the center of the basket. Insert stems of fall faux leaves into the foam. Then add a solar lantern on top of the foam. It's that easy. Add this to your porch for fall to add style during the day and help add light at night. I hope this inspires you to create your own fall porch planner.
This weekend project starts with getting an old lamp out of the garbage, and then we're going to head down to Home Depot and we're going to grab us a basket. I've got 2 lamps I'm going to work with, but I've got to deconstruct this one with the light shade. The bulb, everything has to go, including the wire. We don't need that. So I'm going to cut that loose and get rid of all of the wire for it. Once I toss that away, it's time to get rid of the socket that holds the bulb. All of the hardware, again, must go. This one I'm going to deconstruct down to a smaller base. Also, what I'm going to do is make some epoxy, 2-part epoxy, and start putting it on one of the parts here because it was being held down by a bolt. Once I get that epoxy all the way around and set it back on the base, it's going to hold really firm in about an hour. I also going to go to that second lamp and I'm going to take that apart, cutting the wire and pulling all of it apart. We need that flat part right there. And then it's time to prime. When it comes time to priming, we want to make sure we do a little bit of paint at a time, and you only need 1 coat. This primer will run if you put too much on at a time. We're also going to do this to the smaller base. Again, smaller squirts on there and keeps it from getting any drips or runs. Once we let that dry, then we can go ahead and start painting. On the smaller base, I'm going to use a hammered look. This is great because you can put it on. I only need 1 coat because it's a good quality paint from Rust-Oleum and it's going to cover really nice. I'm going to make sure I get all the little grooves and nicks. That's why it's good to have a spray can. You can get all of that sprayed on there. And then on the taller lamp, I'm going to go ahead with this base and put some black paint on it. It is gloss, so it's going to be a little shinier, which is what the look I'm going for. Once I get all of that covered and maybe even a second coat, I'm going to go back to the epoxy, get it mixed up, and I'm going to set it on top of that flat base right there. Once I get it all covered, I'm going to set my planter right on top because it's got a flat part to it. Now on the smaller one, I put some epoxy around it and I added a washer because it didn't have big enough of a base. Once the washer is settled on there, I'm going to put some more epoxy on top of that and again put the planter. Once that sets up in about half an hour, it's time to add some potting soil to both of these. Once I get all of that potting soil in, it comes to the flower of choice, but this time I chose some vines because I wanted to grow and start growing over and hanging on my project here. Once I get all that planted and get it in place, look how good it turned out. It absolutely looks amazing. I like the 2 different colors, 1 taller and 1 shorter, and it looks great. And as these vines grow, they're going to look great.
You'll want to head to the Home Depot for a large tomato cage and the Dollar Tree for 3 wire planter baskets when you see how cool this summer hack turned out. Now I'm preparing all 3 wire baskets to fit inside the tomato cage at the bottom and the 2 upper rings. The very top wires of the tomato cage can be cut off. However, I'm going for something a little more decorative. I'm pinching wire cutters around the base of the top wire, then gently bending the wire towards the floor. Now I'm moving the bent wire to the left, slipping it into the next section of the cage, then tucking the end in so it stays in place. To get a full-grown look right away, I am using 3 hanging flower baskets and removing their basket hooks. The basket of flowers is being placed into a wire basket with the clips attached. Then I'm positioning them both on top of a tall, slim stool. I'm using a plant pot to raise the level of the flower basket so it reaches the 3rd ring, then clipping the wire basket to the cage. Next, I'm picking up the tomato cage and gently placing it over top of the bottom flower basket with a gentle rotation so the flowers don't break. I'm placing a wire basket into the top of the tomato cage, then using zip ties to attach them together. Now I'm placing flowers in the very top basket to complete the look, which results in a gorgeous, full-grown looking 3-tiered flower stand, offering loads of height and a fabulous punch of color. I just love how the black tomato cage and the flower baskets offset the vivid red and green, making quite an eye-catching display. While this flower stand looks right at home beside my garden shed, I love that you have the ability to display it anywhere you wish.
You'll never believe what you can make from an old lamp and a glass shade from the thrift store. First, I'm going to remove the shade. Next, I'm going to remove the cord since I won't need it, and all of the electrical parts. Once that's all gone, I'm left with the lovely base of the lamp, which is ornate and quite tall. It's time to paint the lamp now, and I've chosen a gorgeous mossy green color that I think is going to look wonderful when it's done. I want to make sure to paint all of the details and even under the edges so none of that existing gold is showing. The final thing I want to do to the lamp base is cover it with a coat of water-based clear coat. This is going to help protect the paint when it's outside when I'm done. This is the glass lampshade that I found at the thrift store, and I've gone ahead and given it a good scrub with some soap and water. I want to attach it to the lamp base, so I'm going to use some contact cement to do that. Now I can adhere them together and line them up exactly where I want them. With the lamp top adhered to the glass shade, it's time to pop it onto the rest of the lamp base. I want to fill the glass shade now completely with soil. My new planter is ready for some plants. I have these succulents that really need replanting, and this is going to be perfect for them. I'm just going to separate the plants and pop them into the soil. I absolutely love how this planter turned out and that I was able to make it from an old mismatched lamp and shade that no one wanted.
Have you ever wondered what you can do with an old worn out lamp? Well, head to your local dollar store and grab some type of solar light. Then when you get back, it's time to start working. Grab your lamp and go ahead and remove the shade and the harp that goes with it. Then we're going to remove the parts of the lamp that we don't need anymore. And you're going to unscrew the nut that's there, and this is going to loosen up your whole lamp. But what we want to do is to remove that metal socket where the light bulb sits. So pull it out and use some good wire cutters to snip the wires that are connected to it. You'll be able to pull the socket out of the top, and then you're going to want to pull the cord out of the bottom of your lamp. We want to get rid of the plug and the cord. Once you've done that, go ahead and just tighten it back up again so your lamp is back in its original order and you'll be ready to go. So my two lamps were different colors and I wanted them both to be black. So if you want your lamps uniform, then lay out a piece of cardboard, some paper bags, and I did a nice 2 coats of a matte black. Once that's dry, you can set your lamps up on a table and grab some good quality glue and run a bead of glue around the top. Okay, you're going to set your solar lights on top, pressing them firmly down, and then give them a few hours to dry. And then when night comes, you'll be ready to place your lights in the garden. I put one on our little patio table. These lights shone so brightly. I was super impressed by how bright they were, considering that I paid $1.25 for each of them.
I wanted to create something that would look unique and beautiful in my garden during the day, but also look really cool at night. So I ran down to Home Depot and picked up some beautiful flowers, as well as 2 of these different hanging baskets. I removed the chain from both of the baskets and ended up removing the insert from one of the baskets. This way I could set one basket on top of the other and create a cool looking orb. Once I knew I had that all planned out, I opened everything up, placed my flowers inside, closed it again with the top frame on the top, lined up the holes, and added zip ties to hold everything together securely. My next step was to add the lights. These are solar powered lights, so they'll work great when I use them outside. I used some command strip tape just to secure the solar powered portion of the lighting to the top of the orb. Now I was ready to just go ahead and wrap my lights all the way around the project. Once it was all wrapped and ready, I was able to just let it sit in the sun for a few hours so that it could charge up, and then just turn them on and enjoy how wonderful they look.